Okay, so before getting into my thoughts on this movie and why I named this video what I named it, and trust me, it's painfully killing me to say that this movie was mid, but guys, I need you to understand, this is coming from somebody who absolutely adores the first Moana. I've seen the first Moana, I can't even tell you how many times. I still remember first watching this movie and the experience and what I got from it was just so unexpected. Like, I walked in not knowing what this movie was going to be, didn't know what to expect at all. And I walked out not only having 5 to 6 songs stuck in my head, listening to that soundtrack for months, and I mean like 6 months, but I had to tell everyone about this movie. I literally, I think I spread the word to at least 1,000 people itself about how good the first Moana is. So this is coming from somebody who absolutely adores the first one. I've seen it so many times. I literally did not, I didn't have high expectations for this sequel because I didn't expect it. I don't necessarily want to hold it to those standards, but I had pretty big expectations. Like I expected it to at least be good. Yet here we are. And I personally have to compare this movie to sequels like Frozen 2, personally, Finding Dory, sorry to my Finding Dory lovers out there, which is, there's a lot of you, I guess, but Finding Dory, not necessarily Cars 2, it's not that bad. It's probably like Cars 3, though. It is probably Cars 3 levels of mid. Wreck-It Ralph breaks the internet. A lot of people don't like that movie. I did, but I know a lot of people don't like it. And I'm going to compare this movie also to Strange World. And the reason you guys probably don't even remember Strange World, but it came out maybe like 3 years ago. And it's a movie where it literally just got released because Disney needed to put something out for the holidays. And that also ended up being Frozen 2 and Wreck-It Ralph 2. All those movies are literally just things that they needed to put out because the holiday came out and they did not live up nearly close to what their predecessors were. And here we are with Moana 2, which did not live up to its predecessor at all. Didn't even come close. In some areas it did, but we'll talk about that. So, this is Moana 2. Let's do this. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for Moana 2, starring Aloe Carvalho, Dwayne Johnson, Nicole Scherzinger, Alan Tudnick, and it was directed by Dana Liddell Miller, Jason Hand, and David Derrick Jr. There's 3 directors in this movie. That probably makes a lot of sense as to why this plot is all over the place, but I'll get to that when I need to. However, our plot does follow Moana continuing her Wayfinder adventures, where basically she is visited by one of her ancestors who present her with a mission to go to a specific island to be able to bring it back up from underneath the sea, which a petty god is holding it down. And basically once she brings that island up, it will be able to connect all the other islands around her and, you know, connect her people even more than she was able to do in the first movie. That is the plot. I did a very good job of explaining that plot, and now I will get into what I liked and what I did not like about this movie. And I feel like I need to say this because the comments in my TikToks, while I appreciate every single one of them, I think I'm getting some sort of message across the wrong way. As far as the cultural representation goes in this movie, it's incredible. Like, for people that actually get to, for anyone that gets to go, for anyone who is not a white person that gets to go to a movie and see people who look like themselves, people who talk like them, do things in their culture, can represent things in their lives and the things that they personally go through. Anyone that gets to go to the theater who is not white, again, yeah, whoever gets to go to a movie to experience that, kudos to you. Like, that's something no one can take away from you, and I encourage more people to do things like that. Like, there are so many people in my comments saying, I didn't understand the movie because I'm not Polynesian or not a Pacific Islander. Not even, look, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't know much about your culture. I just know what the movie presents to me. And people are saying that a lot of stuff in the movie I didn't get. I'm not necessarily going to argue that. But I promise you, cultural representation is not even remotely close. It's not even on the list of reasons why I don't like this movie. Why I didn't like the movie as much as I wanted to, I guess. But I personally, yeah, I guess you could say I don't like the movie because, like I said, it's personally mid, and I am disappointed by that. But cultural representation has nothing to do with that at all. That it's amazing that so many people get to come together and see themselves on screen, because it's not a lot of Pacific Islanders who are actors and actresses out there. So this is something incredibly special, especially to see for families everywhere. Like, it's amazing. Not hating on that whatsoever. The other thing I liked about this movie, or this, I'll say this. Aoi Carvalho as Moana, I loved her. She's amazing as Moana. Her voice is absolutely beautiful, and that does help the songs because they do fall flat. But again, I'll talk about that. What I didn't like about the movie, I think she is an incredible Moana character, Aoi Carvalho, or she's an incredible voice actress, but she's an incredible actress in general, because she completely surprised me with her performance in 2023's Mean Girls. Did Mean Girls come out this year? No, I think it came out last year. Or maybe it did come out this year. Wow, it's been a long year. I think that did come out this year. Maybe, I don't know. But regardless, she surprised me in that. She surprised me once again as Moana, because this is one of my favorite Disney characters. And I loved the princess jab joke that they do in this movie. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but they do a Disney princess joke in this movie for her, and I loved it. I loved her response to it. Moana is amazing, an amazing character. Loved her in this movie. Dwayne Johnson is Maui. Entertaining as hell. A great character. I think Moana and Maui's chemistry is remarkable. It's amazing. It really backpacks a majority of this movie. It backpacks damn near the whole thing. Just Moana's charisma, just her energy, her aura, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Maui, just what he brings to the movie as well. They are very entertaining to watch. They are a great duo. They backpack the majority of the film. However, I have to keep it real. I have to keep it real with what I have issues with this movie with, because like I said, the first movie is too incredible. The first movie is amazing. Like, the first movie, like, y'all know, y'all have seen it. Like, everybody has seen the first Moana, or at least you should have, because when that movie came out, it took the world by storm. You're Welcome, How Far I Go, those songs were everywhere. But let me explain to you guys this. Those aren't even remotely close to the best songs on the track. Well, they are probably in the top 3, but they're not one. The best song by far on the first Moana soundtrack is the "I Am Moana" Song of the Ancestors joint. I am the girl who loves her island. I am the girl who loves the sea. It calls me. And then they go, do. I am the daughter of the village chief. We are descended from voyagers. We found a way across the world. Still they call me. I am so sorry about that. I ended up going on a song run. I tend to do that sometimes, but that song is amazing. But my point to that was, that's the best song in the movie, and I absolutely adore the music. The music made the first movie so special, and the animation. I'll talk before I start to talk about what I didn't like about this movie. The animation in this movie is gorgeous. It's really good. It's as good as the first one. The ocean is absolutely beautiful. I love the way the characters look. It's a gorgeous looking movie. But the reason I gotta be real, guys, is because, like I said, the first movie is way too good for this to be the sequel. I'm being 1,000% honest with you. Like, it's the same situation as Frozen for me. The reason that I took so long to watch Frozen was because everyone hyped the fuck out of that movie, and Let It Go was everywhere. I needed people to let this movie go. However, I gave this movie a shot, and Frozen ended up being way better than everybody said. It was absolutely spectacular, and I was singing Let It Go for months. Like, those movies, Frozen and Moana, have such an iconic impact on the Disney culture. Like, the sequels just ended up being completely forgettable. So that's the category I can put this in. This is a forgettable sequel, and reasons being: one, the plot for me is really just kind of put together, because while I did describe what Moana's objective is in this movie, the execution of it is so boring and dull. It's just literally just thrown together. And once people started to tell me that this was supposed to be a TV series first, or this was supposed to be a TV series regardless, like, that made a lot more sense, because the pacing of this movie was all over the place. It was like the story for me just did not flow as naturally as the first, and I could not stop comparing. I couldn't stop comparing this movie to the first one, because it's literally copy and pasting everything the first movie did, minus the villain part, because the antagonist in this movie is absolutely non-effective whatsoever. And I'll explain a little bit deeper on that in a little bit. But as far as I'm concerned, the villain in this movie compared to the first, ain't even remotely close. Like it really, a lot of this stuff just falls flat. And personally, I will talk about a small part of the movie, and it deals with Nicole Scherzinger's character as, I think her name is like Magda. She's like, or Cena, I guess. I don't know. She's the Bat Lady, as a lot of people have been describing her as. Yeah, she plays this character who is basically holding Maui hostage. She's basically holding Maui hostage to literally just keep him there until Moana finds them and is able to go on the journey together. Like that. When I find out that like that's her character's purpose, I was like, what? But then I was like, that was kind of okay. Like y'all just kind of, it just felt like filler. It just felt like it's just, you needed to put something there to fill a runtime. Like that's what most of this movie felt like to me. Most of the events that are occurring in this movie were just happening to fill a runtime. But this really could have been a TV series. Like you could have broken this up into a TV series, and it could have been explained a lot more thoroughly to me. I mean, in my opinion, and the execution of it could have been a lot better. Like just for a movie's sake, I felt like they were just rushing through a lot of this to get to the end, because what this movie really feels like to me is a complete setup for a third movie, which it is. There's an end credit scene to this movie and everything that sets up a third movie, and the entire plot to me was kind of hinting that there was more stuff to come, especially from this petty god that I will talk about in just a second. That more stuff was supposed to be coming from these characters, but they can't reveal it yet because they're saving it all for a third movie. I was really disappointed by that. Like they didn't even give this movie, in my opinion, the respect or attention it deserved to be a great or good enough sequel. Like they didn't give it anything whatsoever. They were kind of just rushing to get through everything so that they could really set up what this third movie will be, which I think honestly the third movie might be amazing, because I was more interested in the stuff that they were hinting at rather than the stuff that was going on. Another problem with this movie, before I get to the villain, the side characters suck. Like these are some of the most replaceable side characters I've ever seen in an animated movie in my life. Like they are really, really bad. They add nothing. Absolutely nothing to the movie whatsoever. I mean, the old man is like one of the funniest characters, so he does provide some laughs, but the other characters, in my opinion, were very boring. I felt like they could have been more interesting, could have been more engaging for us as audience members, or for me at least as an audience member, but I just truly found no interest in the side characters. None of the new characters grabbed any of my attention. Nicole Scherzinger's purpose didn't get revealed until the end credit scene, really, so I was just like, okay. And then the villain, and also the songs, but I'll talk about the villains first, because like I said, the first Moana is just so amazing, because the villain and the backstory to that entire thing was just absolutely heart-wrenching. Like it was like the villain had a story, it had purpose, it had a whole background. The whole thing where Moana and the island are able to just connect with each other and, understand, and then she turns into this completely beautiful thing from this volcanic monstrosity. She turns from that into this beautiful, just flowing island garden lady. Like it was so beautiful to watch. And we end up going from that to just a fake Zeus who doesn't even the guy physically doesn't show up until the end credit scene, setting up the next movie. They talk about how terrifying, how petty, how menacing this dude is, but we don't see him at all throughout the entirety of the movie. And on top of that, they give no real reasons or motivation as to why he's holding they give a very vague description as to his motivation and and they call him a petty god, saying he feels like if he keeps the island separated, that'll make him stronger. Like that's their only explanation for this guy's motivation, to just completely keep these people separated. Like that's it. Like, and personally, that's just not, I felt like they could go a lot deeper, because they just had a movie where the villain was so in depth, like you could really emotionally attach yourself to them. You could understand where they were coming from, doing what they were doing. The villain in here is just here to just be here until the third movie, because they're hinting at whatever he's about to do in the next movie. And it's just, everything just falls flat to me here. This movie is a complete copy and paste, in my opinion. It does explore the themes of essentially when you feel like you know what your purpose is in life, when you feel like you know what you're supposed to be doing, all these other things come in the way, and then you feel like you don't know anything at all. That's a great lesson. I really enjoyed that, but I felt like that could have been explored a little more, instead of just being rushed and pushed through this very not convoluted plot, but very just rushed plot. And on top of that, The songs in this movie. The songs in this movie, it is a night and day difference because I only walked out of this movie really enjoying one song, and it's mainly due to Aloy Carvalho's incredible voice. Beyond is a banger. Beyond is the only banger on this entire Moana soundtrack, and I probably won't be listening to any song but that one because it just didn't hit. Lin-Manuel Miranda's just musical presence was really missing here. Like it was blatantly, like, obviously missing. Like, we needed Lin-Manuel Miranda to be once I saw he was not going to be a part of the music aspect in this movie, my expectations definitely lowered a bit more because I knew the songs would not hit the same. They just don't hit the same. Now, there is one particular song or a particular moment where Maui is being able to do something with Moana. I'm not going to go into detail as to what. That is a very beautiful moment, and I think that does count as one of the songs. So that was a good song too. So they probably have two. The rest of these songs don't hit at all. It's just the movie don't hit the same. The movie is literally trying to do everything the first one did, but it's just a very cheaper. It's a much cheaper copy, and just blatantly obvious that Disney needed to put something out during the holiday season. Now, a lot of you are probably asking yourself, why is this kid going so hard on a children's movie? It's for the kids, man. Blah, 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 blah. Let me explain something to you guys. This is not a kid's movie. This is an animated movie. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference between kids' movies and animated movies. Everyone should know. We all have been a kid at some point in time, and we all, as adults, still have those kids' movies that we absolutely, or animated movies, forgive me, that we absolutely, or childhood kids, whatever movie, animated movies that we absolutely adore. Everyone should know the best animated movies are the ones that are for all ages. I'm talking about the Shreks. I'm talking about Toy Story, How to Train Your Dragons. I'm talking about Moana, Coco, The Incredibles, like all the best animated, A Bug's Life, all the best animated movies are the ones that you can watch no matter what age you are. Movies that are specifically kids or children's movies are movies like Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, Dog Man that's about to come out, Minecraft, Clifford the Big Red Dog, Harold and the Purple Crayon, movies like that. Those are kids' movies. When it comes to animated movies, however, and this is the reason animated movies can't get the respect they deserve, because you guys are just saying you can't be critical of a children's movie, but you can, because The Wild Robot, Transformers 1, Inside Out 2, Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, like there are too many examples of animated movies that have absolutely deserves the utmost praise, but can't get them because they fall into the category of children's movies. Those are not, they're animated movies and they deserve our love. There are not 10 movies better than The Wild Robot or Transformers 1 or Inside Out 2 this year. Those movies are all probably going to be in my top 10, and I am going to be a huge advocate for animated movies to get more respect as long as I live on this earth. Now, that was a mouthful, but I just need people to understand, like, I'm being harsh on this movie because the first one literally set the expectation. Like, the first one was so spectacular, I'm expecting the follow-up to at least be good. Like, it wasn't even Lion King 2 good. Like, Lion King 2 Simba's Pride is the most fire VHS or straight-to-video movie Disney's ever probably came out with. Like, it's amazing, but this movie just doesn't come close. This movie, like Moana 2, was a big letdown for me, and personally, it was mid. It was completely mid. The only thing that was saving it was Aloy Carvalho, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. None of the side characters. One song was a banger. The animation's gorgeous. Yeah, there's not a lot that's holding this movie up for me. It's just okay, and that's okay. But for those who enjoyed it, I'm so glad you did. There are going to be so many parents here that are like, I took my kids, we all enjoyed it. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. As long as you took your kids out to a movie and y'all had family time and y'all enjoyed it together, that's a special experience. Don't let me take that from y'all. But these are just my thoughts. And for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give Moana 2 a 3 out of 5 stars. And look, a 3 out of 5 ain't bad. That's my score for mid-movies. It's average. It was just meh. That's okay. Okay, guys, so Moana 2. Have you seen it? What did you think about it, guys? Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Look, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff and so much more. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon. I delivered us from where we are. I have journeyed further. I am everything I've learned and more. Still it calls me. And the goal isn't out there at all, it's inside me. It's like